Myshire Farm. Welcome to tonight's Q&A. We will be live, and I am trying to pull, there we go, trying to pull it up on the other tablet here so that I can read your guys' questions. Let's see. Maybe. My internet has been awful today. Okay, there we are. Okay, so we do this every Sunday at 7 p.m. It's a live Q&A. You can ask your own questions. You can go ahead and start asking now if you'd like. Any questions you have pertaining to quail. And it has been a very crazy day around here. Ohio has just announced that they're going to be doing a whole state lockdown and things like that. So I've been watching a lot of news and reading a lot of stuff, and plus the daily stuff, so I am not 100% prepared like I usually am, but I am here on time. So thank you for joining here on time. I appreciate it. I do not have any questions yet, so I would like go ahead and ask your questions if you have any concerning anything like that. I do have a couple of topics that we can talk about until somebody starts asking questions. Concerning, people calling me this week and asking me questions, and I get certain questions asked quite a bit that we can go over. So before I do that, make sure that you hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Also, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so it gives you notifications every time that I go live. Tom from Canada, welcome. Have you used superworms to reduce feed cost? No, we actually tried to grow our own mealworms a couple years ago, and it didn't work out too well for us. I just got too much stuff going on, and that was at the bottom of my list. But because we have our feed custom made, we don't actually add anything to the feed. We give them treats every once in a while, cucumbers, apples, things like that. A lot of stuff from the garden, but we don't supplement anything with the feed. Bait City, Missouri, welcome, Steven, sorry. Bob from New York, welcome. Let's see, hi Zach from Macon, Missouri. What material did you use to make your roller poop trays, and how did you seam it together? We actually do not use those anymore. They were really cool for about a year. And then they were the essence of hate for me. They kept breaking. It was very expensive to fix. It was very time consuming. It ended up not being worth it at all. Great idea. Maybe if somebody built it better, but we couldn't figure it out. So we went through we're in a whole different ball game now as far as what we do. Which this week I will be doing a bunch of live videos, tentatively on Wednesday all day, and we'll be doing not necessarily hour long, we'll be doing sections, so like feed and water in the morning, and it'll be live, so you can do a Q&A, and somebody will be following me around, so if you ask a question they'll be able to answer it, but we'll be doing a section on feeding and watering. We can talk about what feed we use, when we switch it over, things like that. We'll be doing an hour or however long it takes to do shipping and getting the orders together. We'll be doing the new poop system, all kinds of different stuff, just daily stuff that I think might be fun. Kurt, hello. Adam from Wales, finally have my first batch of celadons in the incubator. Congratulations. Ben, state regulations are a pain in the butt. Yes, they can be. Ohio is pretty good. Tom, what temp is your building, and in what humidity do you keep your barn at? How many hours of light do you feed? Do your they get 18 hours of light, and they get 18 hours of light, and the humidity, I have no idea, and the temperature I don't know, 55, 55-ish. We've got a furnace, but I haven't turned it on at all. We haven't needed it, and they do fine. They're out of the elements, and they're comfortable. Daniel from Kentucky, welcome. Ben, hello. Let's see. David Woods, Washington, Missouri here. Welcome. Just hatched 18 out of 25 on your shipped eggs. It's great. My first hatch in a small desktop unit. Really happy and already ordered again. Thank you. That is wonderful. Congratulations. That's a great hatch rate. Congratulations. Kiki, you're here. Hello. Again, if you just started or you just tuned in, please make sure you hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. Make sure you hit the subscribe and the bell so you get notifications when I go live. Carlo, that giveaway of eggs for kids under 18 years old, is it just for USA or maybe Europe? It is just for the USA. Right now, we cannot ship internationally. Most of the time, we can't ship internationally, but especially with everything going on now, for sure not. So I do get quite a bit of questions. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask, and I will get to them. And a couple of questions I've had quite a bit this week are, when do you take the lights off of the brooders? You know, when do you turn the lights out? When do you move them? I've got a routine. So the first 2 weeks, they have the light on. The third week, I turn the light off and I cover the top so not a lot of air is getting in, so it's warmer in there. And then at the fourth week is when I move them. So I don't actually move them until they've been in the brooder for a week without the heat lamp. So that was a question that I get asked quite a bit. Tanya's there, welcome. And then another common question that I get quite a bit is, what are the feather sexable quail? The feather sexable quail consist of jumbos. Hi, dog. Jumbos, the wilds, Egyptians. I got to go in a row as far as how my cages are set up. So we've got sparklies, which is a pansy pharaoh cross to make it feather sexable. And then I've got golds, Italians and golden Manchurians. I've got autumn ambers. I've got sex-linked Egyptians, snowies, pearls, Fab V, and that's it. So there's about 8 of them. The rest of them are vent sex. With feather sexable, you can sex them out at 3 weeks old. Vent sex is anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. It just depends on environment, and light has a lot to do with it and things like that. I accidentally unchecked the bell. That's why I haven't been getting any alerts. I fixed that. Wonderful. Great. Besides Rue, what other genes are sex-linked? If I remember right, you said in a previous video that there was more than one way to do sex-linked. Is Phi sex-linked? No. So the best, easiest way for me to explain it is, you can do a sex link of like pharaohs. You just need the Rue gene, the opposite of pharaohs. So I'm going to say it in a different way. If you put the Rue gene with the pharaoh, you get Egyptian. So if you put pharaoh hens with Egyptian males, you would get sex link. If you put Italians or golds with the Rue gene, you get autumn ambers. If you put autumn amber males over Italian or golden Manchurian hens, you'll get sex link. So it's really, the Rue gene is the key. So whatever the opposite is, or whatever you get with the Rue gene with that color, is how you would work it, if that makes sense at all. It makes sense in my head. Is there a best time to call you regarding my plucked back feather problem? Don't want to interrupt your busy times. Tuesday. Tuesday or the rest. Oh, no, not Wednesday. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday would be good. Tomorrow is going to be slammed. And then as soon as I get off here, I'll be going down to the barn and working till like 11 o'clock tonight. So tonight and tomorrow is 100% booked. Tuesday's free. Wednesday, I'm going to be doing the videos all day. Thursday, Friday will be business as usual. How many breeds do you recommend starting out with for a small operation? It depends on what you want to do. If you're wanting to start your quail farm and make some money off of it, then as many as possible. If you're looking to be more self-sufficient, I always recommend starting with the jumbo wilds, and then you can always add on. But no matter what the Coturnix is, whether it's SSC, the Schofield Silvers, or German Pastels, or Jumbo Wilds, or Fab Fees, or Scarlets, or Tibetans, or whatever, they all lay about 300 eggs a year, and they all live in pretty much the same. You know, they're pretty much. It's just the color of them. It's just the feathers of them that are different, but everything else is the exact same. Some are smaller than others, some are bigger than others, some lay larger eggs, some lay less eggs, and things like that. But they pretty much are larger eggs. They all lay about 300 eggs a year on average, and they all get along together, except for sometimes the whites get picked on quite a bit. So you can do whatever you want. Is pretty much my answer. Jumbo Wilds, if you're only going to have one color. If you're only going to have one kind of Coturnix, it should be the Jumbo Wilds. But if you like all the pretty colors, they all get along, and they all lay, and they taste just the same. They're just a little bit smaller, so it just depends on what you're wanting to do. That was a really long answer. Sorry. I'd say it depends on what your goal is for standard egg and meat sales. I would stick with one breed, sure. Makes sense. Todd, hey Zach, can you touch on weepy egg and incubator? Pic I sent was leaking and stinky. Sure. So sometimes there could be like a hairline fracture or something like that in an egg. You incubate it and then you put it in lockdown, or even before you put it in lockdown, you might see some pus coming out of it. 9 times out of 10, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, obviously nothing's going to hatch, so there's no reason for you to keep it. But if you're really worried, or if the incubator is kind of tricky and you really don't want to open the lid, it should be fine. There's a possibility that it could explode. Maybe it's slim numbers, but it's still a possibility. And my luck is I see it and I don't move it, and that's the time it explodes. You know what I mean? But I've caught plenty of them throughout the years that I'm like, oh, that shouldn't have went in there, but just disinfect it and clean it. But if you have the opportunity to get rid of it, then that's definitely what you should do. Which is why it's a concern to put, slightly cracked or hairline fractured eggs into the incubator. You just got to watch them. My 6-week-old pansy feed babies are beautiful. Wonderful. That's great to hear. Wonderful. This message is held for review. I'll show it. I don't know. Fab Fee, you can feather sex. I just got some recently from my local breeder. Same as Pharaoh? Yes, they are same as Pharaoh, just different pigmentation, but you feather sex them the exact same way. Instead of the rusty brown chest, it'll be all white, and then the speckles are hens. From Nebraska, welcome. Do you have to selectively breed the jumbo wilds to keep the jumbo size? Absolutely. I did do a jumbo video on YouTube, don't know, maybe a year ago. And yeah, yes, you need to selectively breed for jumbo wilds. Which I know this wasn't a question, and I've got a couple. If you have any more, feel free to ask. Oh, crap. Felt like that was an important message that was on my phone. I didn't read it. I know this wasn't asked, and it really hasn't been brought up at all. I thought somebody would ask, but no one did, which is fine. But at the beginning of the year, I always update prices and pictures and things like that. So, I took some of the colors and I brought them down to 50 cents. So, for example, last year was the first year that we had autumn ambers, so they were rare. Not a lot of people have autumn ambers, so they were a dollar. They're still more unique. I don't want to use the word rare. They're still more unique and they're still great, but I dropped them down to 50 cents. Same with a couple other ones. I did increase the jumbo wilds to 60 cents an egg instead of 50. The reason I did that is because I would say 20% of my time all year long is working with jumbo wilds, doing research, hatching, replacing, weighing. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. We do that with all the colors, but nowhere near the jumbos. The jumbos we take very seriously around here, and they are in a section all by themselves. So yeah, the answer to your question was yes. I just went on for 35 minutes about random nothing. Braden, not too many people from Nebraska. Nope, there is not. Welcome, though. Daniel, is it normal for a 4-week-old male to have started crowing? He only does it once a day before the sun rises, and I can get him to repeat it even if I play back a recording. I wouldn't say it's normal, but it happens. I've actually had chicks, like 2, 3, 4-day-old chicks that do it. And I've kept an eye on them, like I've separated them just to be like, are they just making noise or are those males? And every time it's turned out to be a male. And I'm like, what? So I don't know what that's all about, but some of them just hatch out male, like from the get-go. Like they're all male. So yeah, I usually keep those for breeding, to be honest with you. They usually turn out to be the best colors or the largest birds, or they usually turn out to be fantastic. Susan, I have been talking literally for hours, and so I'm not sick. Everything's fine. But man, when I talk for an extended amount of time, my throat kills me every time. Like when I get off these videos every week, you would think oh, it's awful. I should fix that. Do something about it. All right, Susan. Can your shipping method stand up to a bad post office? Mine is deliberately mean to animals and eggs. Well, that's not nice. We guarantee it. I can't guarantee there might not be issues, but I guarantee that you'll get what you ordered eventually. Honestly, we do the 50% hatch rate guarantee. So like I've had people, 50% is a standard. So if you don't get above 50%, then I feel obligated to reship you. So I'll get some people that will get the box. We always send extra. So like the 25 count is actually 30. Like that's what I write down is 30, so if you order and you do 25 mixed eggs, well then when I write it down on my shipping list, I always do 30 because that's really what I send. So I have some people that call and go, 2 eggs were broken, so what are we going to do? And it's like, sorry, incubate them. You should still get it, those eggs will count towards your 50% hatch. But always hatch them out. I would say 7 times out of 10, you're still going to get a really good hatch. I think maybe I've reshipped 3 times all year. Maybe 2. 2 or 3 times. I've reshipped 2 or 3 times all year because of bad post office. And they've always arrived great the second time around. Once I explain the situation to my post office, they tend to like me quite a bit. So, Cindy, are you here? I don't know. I do not see her. David Woods. Susan, the box I got would withstand a nuke. I like that answer. I just don't feel comfortable saying that. We do take a lot of pride in how we ship, and I think that we do the best shipping around. Is what I think, but I should think that, shouldn't I? I have the worst post office employees alive. I've never received even one cracked egg from Zach. I like that answer as well. Thank you. Bring your questions in. We are, wow. After this whole lockdown thing, I think I'm going to get my eyes checked. We got about 10 minutes left, so any questions that you got, feel free to ask. I'll be happy to answer. Before I answer or ask the next question from Bob White, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit the bell on my YouTube channel. Guys, I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Has anyone else noticed an uptick on demand during virus? We got an order from y'all, from all you can provide at our local Asian store. We shipped out 1,000. They also asked for balut. How long an incubator? It's busy season for us. I do think a lot of people are taking it more seriously as far as being a little bit more self-sufficient. But it's about what it normally is. There hasn't been a huge... It's hard to say. Plus, it's our first year in the new barn, so it's hard to say. My dog is looking like she's going to be bad, but maybe that's her face. Sorry. They also are balut. Balut, you would have to ask them. I've heard and read and talked to people that want 12-day balut, 14-day balut. I don't know. It's all a preference from where they are, and I don't know that answer. Sorry. From the UK, welcome. Stephen, not sure if uptick, but no problem selling my eggs for consumption. Sure. We don't. I mean, we offer them, but we really don't sell the eating eggs very often. Most of all the eggs, if not all the eggs, go to hatching eggs. What am I going to get when I breed my pansy fee with each other? What are the possible colors? Some growl fees, pearl, fab fee, Tibetan, Pharaoh, and gold. Some of those are really rare. Some, like, I would say every time you hatch out pansy fees, you're going to hatch out a growl, like every time. Pharaohs are pretty high on the list. Tibetans are in the middle. Golds are pretty low. It just, just varies. Good question, though. Daniel, how often do you How often do you recreate a color from scratch again to add in new blood? For example, you said before that you bring in new blood sometimes, but you created autumn ambers, so unless you bought from someone, you copied your crosses, all of the others you could bring in would be from the original line. We do have a process. It's a two-stage process. Two-step. Yeah, it's a two-step process. Overall, it takes 2 years is how our process works. So we're changing things out quite often, but 2 years is the complete cycle, and then we just start over again. It's never ending. But I think that's why we have such great colors, is because we just never stop. So, Charles, hello from Florida. Larissa, I hope I said that correctly. As far as chick death, is it normal to lose smaller chicks as they start getting older? I would say we can always improve chick fatality, but if you're under 10% the entire brooder process, I would say that would be average, is 10%. We keep track of it here, and I don't remember the last time we've been over 10%, but we have been over 10% before, and that's when we start looking into everything. You know, what's the brooder doing? What's the light looking like? What's the water situation like? What happened? So it's over 10%, then you got to fix something right away. If you're hovering at 10%, I would probably do the same thing. But 10% is like the red line, like don't go past that kind of thing. Salvador, welcome. Hello. Are Schofield silver size close to jumbos or closer to standard size? They are standard size. Some of them get quite large. I know a couple customers of mine have a bunch of silvers and they are, 10, 11, a couple are 12 ounces, which is great. But they don't hatch true and they're very inconsistent. So I would always consider them standard size. Good question, though. Very good question. I am on my last question as of right now. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'd be happy to help you. We can talk about brooders. We can talk about selling. We can talk about egg production. We can talk about chick fatality or incubator or whatever you'd like to do. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Charles Cruz, I have a hen that's breast is swollen. Feel like air when I touch it. She seemed normal other than looking weird. Any ideas what's going on? Well, I would assume, and I don't know because I'm not a vet, I would assume that there's some sort of infection, but I don't know that. I do not keep those for the breeding program because I'm trying to make sure that I say it in the right way. Okay. If I was just raising quail for me and my family, I would keep it. But because I sell and ship quite a bit to all over the U.S., I wouldn't allow that into my breeding program at all. That's the best answer I got for you. Sorry. It's a good question. To be honest, it's a choice. I mean, you'll have to decide whether it's a big deal or not. If she's acting fine, and she's producing, then it just depends on what you're doing with them, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. That is all the questions. I will give everybody 2 minutes in case you guys have any questions for me. I will be happy to answer them. If not, then we'll just call it a night and move forward, move on to next week. Wednesday, we will be doing the live Q&A. I will be doing a video to confirm this. I've already talked to George. We're in agreement, but you never know. Something always comes up. So the plan of right now is Wednesday, we will be starting early, like early, 7 a.m., if not earlier, to feed and water and to get orders ready and to collect eggs and to do inventory and to do the poop and to clean the floors and to do this and to do that. We will be doing them live so that we can answer your questions because if you have the question, somebody else has the same question, they just don't want to ask. Tentatively, we're doing that on Wednesday, is the plan, if nothing else comes up. But we will confirm everything tomorrow, and if it is a go, then I will be doing a YouTube video tomorrow night letting you know all the details. But we're going to have some fun. I'm planning on doing a giveaway for it with the Wynola Ranch cage, so that'll be kind of fun. We'll be answering your questions. It'll be live, so you never know what's going to happen. And we'll be going through the whole process, so shipping, all kinds of stuff. And we'll try to make it as fun as possible. And I don't think you understand, like I don't stop moving, so you could get dizzy. because I move a lot and really fast when I'm in that barn. Like I'm ready to go. And George he's my right hand. Me and him get everything done down there because he'll be pretty much reading off the questions for me and following me around. It's going to be pretty much just me, so I've got to do double the work that day. So, but I think it'll be fun. So hopefully you guys will be able to join. Hopefully it works out. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Just be kind. Hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Let's see. I have a hint. Nope, I've read that one. Daniel, do all your chicks hatch at the same time, go into the same brooder regardless of color? It varies. Yes, if I'm selling. If I'm selling them, then they all go in together. If I'm hatching out to replace a breeder, then no, they go into a separate place. If I'm hatching out our research eggs, they are in a completely different area, completely different brooder area, completely different cages, everything. The researches are completely confined, same as the jumbo wilds. If I'm replacing a breeder cage of jumbo whites, then they'll be by themselves. But if I'm just hatching out for our, breeder sets and our hen sets and our teen sets, they all go in together. She's in my call pen. Yeah, I would probably recommend that. My quails stop laying throughout winter. How can I make them lay again? You want to give them 18 hours of light and make sure that they have a very good layer feed. Layer feed, which means you don't need protein. Protein can be as low as 15%. You need a high calcium, high fiber, 18 hours of light, out of the elements, and a consistent temperature. After all that's done, throw some electrolytes in the water, and I would say 2 weeks, you should be fine. Usually. Are you taking any special precautions of doing anything different due to the coronavirus? Are you taking any special precautions or doing anything different? A little bit, not a ton. We always welcome farm pickups, but no one is allowed here now. So if anyone wants to pick up, we meet them in the parking lot or the driveway. We don't have a parking lot. I don't know why I said that. We meet them in the driveway with their stuff. So surprisingly, we've had a lot of people lately that get really upset about that. Like, well, I wanted to come see everything, and it's like, I'm sorry, I just can't let anyone in. Like, sorry. I don't know why that's. I don't know. And then, yeah, pretty much anywhere the only place I really go is to drop off our corporate accounts and to go to the post office. And I've been wearing gloves and staying away from people, really. Just, I don't mind getting sick. I mean, I don't want to get sick, but I'm not terrified of it. But I don't want to get sick and then be in that barn and then possibly give it to the quail or transfer it to the eggs or the foamers and then send them to you. So I'm trying to be as safe as possible leaving. And very few people are allowed in the barn, even that live here. Very few people are, we're restricting a lot of access. It's pretty much George, me, and Jenna is pretty much who goes in there now. Okay. We do. I actually, so I have this little alarm clock in the barn. Sorry. Are you guys, yeah, sorry. Had a phone call, had to decline it. So I've got an alarm clock in the barn, and so I set it up, and the alarm goes off when I'm supposed to go into the barn first thing in the morning. And then at 6 o'clock, the alarm goes off again, which tells me, like, okay, you worked long enough, you gotta stop. So now I've set the alarm for multiple times a day where we stop what we're doing and wash our hands, and everyone thinks it's the dumbest thing in the world. but you can never be too safe. And I worked in restaurants for a really long time, and we always did that. So I'm getting made fun of quite a bit now. But yes, wash your hands, which should not be a new thing, everybody. That should be like, oh, just keep doing what we're doing kind of thing. Not, what do you mean wash my hands kind of thing. But that's a different topic. Susan, he stopped. No visitors to the barn right now. As a precaution, he still does in-person pickups. Yes, I do. Salvador, Zach, when you ship jumbo white eggs, how many grams are they? The eggs? Oh, I think they're 14. I'd have to look. I think on average it's 14. But don't hold me to that. I'd have to look. Sorry. Daniel. I thought I was reasonable when I stopped, but nope, you did fine. About 6 people after you was not okay with it. But yeah, like, a couple people have stopped by and they've been completely understanding. We had Daniel stop by last week, whenever I was dropping off all the corporate accounts. I don't remember what day that was. But yeah, you stopped by and George helped you and brought you everything, and you text me that night and everything was good. The next day we had one person that called and asked to come, and I said, look, I can bring it out to you. Okay, that's not a problem. The other person just stopped by unannounced, and they were not happy that they were not allowed into the barn. But my local feed store is the same way. We have to call the order in, pay on phone, and they load the truck once customer is back in vehicle. Yeah, I don't know enough about it, Like it's better to be safe than sorry in some instances. But for the most part, we've been we've been working on the biosecurity thing for a while now, 6 months. So we have a lot of stuff in place already, and so I feel really good about that, because not a lot has changed as far as our procedures go or anything like that, because we practice really good stuff already. So that's a good thing for me. That makes me feel better. Like I'm not having to readjust everything because of this. Just be more mindful, but pretty much do what I've been doing. So I'm happy about that. If I order jumbo wilds now, when would they ship? Wonderful question. About a week and a half. So I am about 4 days of orders before I take them off the website. So anything that goes 2 weeks on a wait, I take it off the website and eBay. So right now, you can't order jumbo whites, you can't order jumbo Egyptians, you can't order breeder sets or the all hen sets. You can't order sex link because I am on a 2-week wait on all of those. Jumbo wilds, luckily I get a ton of eggs a day, but I'm still about a week and a half out. So about a week and a half. This usually keeps up until April-ish, and then we kind of slow down where it's pretty fast. If that answers your question, I hope it did. Steven, good show as always. Got to run. All right, thank you for joining. All right, so there are no other questions. If you have any other questions, I will give you a minute. If not, then we will see you hopefully on Wednesday, but for sure next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be back for a live Q&A. I'm hoping, the idea is that I can do this, a bunch of live episodes on Wednesday, and if you weren't able to do it live and ask the question, I'm hoping that you can come back on Sunday and we can have a long discussion about everything that happened. Because I am sure that a lot of people will have a lot of questions as far as everything that we do, and I will do my best to answer while I'm working. But Yeah, that's the plan. So, guys, thank you for joining me. I know this is a crazy time. I know everybody's doing a lot of prepping, and there's just a lot of stuff going on. So I appreciate your time. I hope I answered your questions. Make sure you check out our website at myshirefarm.com. And if you're wanting to learn more about quail, I highly recommend that if you're on Facebook, you join Newbie Quail Lovers Facebook group. That's a group I started a couple years ago, and it's just kind of taken off. It's the second largest quail group on Facebook. I'm very proud of that, but I'm more proud that all of the members are just phenomenal at helping each other. I mean, just phenomenal. We'll get nasty comments every once in a while, but for the most part, everybody really helps each other. So that's wonderful. I highly recommend that. But that is the last question. So yes, hashtag wash your hands, be safe. You know, if this coronavirus pandemic has taught me anything, it's taught me that I touch my face all the time. Like all the time, like every second I go, oh, don't touch my face. And then all of a sudden, less than a second later, I'm going, and I'm like, oh, yeah. So yeah, I've got issues. All right, last question. Best meat and egg bird that could ship this week. The golds are really good. Tibetans are really good. I'm trying to think of what's available. I could ship Fab Fees this week, and they're probably number one right now. That could ship this week. They're the largest. They're feather sexable. They're pretty. Growl Fees. Fab Fees would be number one. Golds would be a very close second. Tibetans, Scarlets, and Rosettas would be a very close third. Or you could just have fun and do a mix. It's a good question, though. Everybody, thank you very much. Pansy Fee is the prettiest. It is, but I don't sell those yet. You were special. I don't have those on the website yet. I'm still trying to do one or two more things before they're ready. But they are very close. I should have those on the website, I would assume, within the next month. Because they're ready to go. Now I'm being picky. I didn't know. It's okay. Nope, no problem at all. So, everybody, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Please make sure that you hit the like button. I can't stress that enough, and I feel like a broken record, and I feel bad for always saying it, but all the videos I watch tell me that I have to tell you to hit it, to remind you. So that's what I'm doing. And then make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you check us out on our website. Make sure you check us out on Facebook, Instagram. Dude, I'm all over the place all the time. So thank you all, and hopefully I'll see you Wednesday. If I don't see you Wednesday, I will for sure see you next Sunday at 7 p.m. See you, everybody. Thanks.